Hello and welcome back to the podcast. We are officially starting season 4.
And it's been a minute since we've been here and ended things with season 3.
A lot has changed, and contrary to what it sounds like right now, my voice is not one of those things. It just so happens that as soon as we announce the comeback of the podcast, I get a cold, and we're not going to let that postpone us any longer. So let's catch up on what's been going on since the last season of the podcast, which feels like a lifetime ago, and in a way was a lifetime ago because since then, Elliot's lifetime has begun. And
It's actually crazy.
I know.
When we ended, Elliot arrived not long after. So between season 3 and season 4, that has been the
His
entirety of his existence here on this earth.
I know. I'm officially a mamacita.
Heck yeah, you are.
When that thing was going around, I'm like, I'm going to use that now. But yeah, so let's kind of start from the beginning. I'm not going to get into the whole birth story, although I really enjoy listening to those. So on our Patreon, that's going to be the bonus content this week. I'm going to tell a little bit about the birth story of Elliot and just my experience. I felt like when I watched those on TikTok before I gave birth, it gave me a lot of like peace and kind of like what to expect. So I don't know, if you're into that sort of thing, join us on the Patreon. That's what I'm going to be talking about this week for bonus content. But we can kind of start at the beginning here because after Elliot was born, and after most babies are born, you have to come up with their name.
You sure do.
And honestly, this was something that I didn't realize I wasn't prepared for. Of all the things I spent time preparing for before he came, the name was not really one of them that was high on the priority list. And I actually think for bonus content last season, we talked about like naming him, or did we talk about naming?
I feel like we talked about the idea of
talking about the
idea of naming him.
Well, truthfully, I didn't really have that many, so I don't think we ended up actually doing it. But I had a list going, as many people who are like expecting do, or also, I don't know if you do, but like I had a list going in my notes before I
sure
really.
do.
Okay, so like I feel like that's a normal thing. Before I ever had the thought of really actually having a baby, I had a list of names that I liked. But for some reason, when it actually came time and when Elliot was actually here, I was looking at all of the names and I did not feel connected to pretty much any of them. Like,
Yeah.
I just kept saying, like, I don't picture this as him, which it's so
Right.
weird. Like, how do you know? He's a baby. He doesn't even look the same now as he did,
No.
2 months ago, let alone, 8 months ago. But I was looking at the list and I truly could not land on one. And so it got to the point, and Evan was the same way. Like, we both just kept being like, I don't feel like that fits him. I don't know.
Right.
So we literally got to the point where they were discharging me, or going to be discharging me. And we're like, if you don't pick a name, like, we're going to have to give you paperwork that's basically saying you're responsible on your own for like submitting all the documents and making sure he gets a name. And at that time too, my brain was barely functioning. So I'm like, oh my gosh, we have to do this before I leave, because there's no chance we're going to like remember to submit all the documents after the fact. So finally got to the point where we were down to 2 names, 2 totally different names.
Very, very different names.
Which I'll just share. The other name was Rowan, and then we had Elliot. And again, neither of these names were really like, I think I was panicking so much because I actually hadn't thought it through so much, and I felt like there's no meaning behind this if there was no really meaning behind the names at the time that I felt. So I was like, you can't just pick a random name. It has to have meaning of some kind. And also at that time, we knew that we wanted his middle name to be Marshall, after my dad. And I was like, he already gets Evan's last name and like carries his family's last name. So like, I want to carry something with my family too. So we knew we wanted to do that. So also every name we were picking, we're like, it has to go with that.
Has to flow.
And truthfully, at the end, I was like, I don't even care. Just like, let's pick the name we like the best that we just think like fits him. So we went with Elliot. And also at that time, I was like, oh, cool. Like, Evan's name is Evan. So it's like big E and little E. And I actually think you're the one who texted me that initially.
I think I
like,
probably did.
oh, I like Elliot because like big E and little E. And I was like, oh, okay, like I love that. Now it's got like some meaning to it. And then after when like we did the whole announcing and everything, and then people like in the comments were like, oh my gosh, like she did like E-M and M because like his last name is Evan's last name. And I was like, oh my God. It's like people actually think
people were emotionally moved by your
yeah.
selection.
And truthfully, that's great. Like I'm glad there's more meaning to it than we initially meant. But also I did feel like at the time, I'm like, this is definitely what people do when artists give like what people think are Easter eggs or like secret meaning behind stuff and gave it meaning. Like I was like, I actually didn't think of that, but I'll take the credit for
Felt
it
like
now.
Taylor Swift.
Yeah, I did. Like I was like, oh, cool.
Totally planned it.
I'm so thoughtful and smart, but really I did not think of that. So that is how Elliot's name came to be Elliot. But also before that, obviously we like didn't have a chance to talk. The baby shower was also
after the
podcast ended. So we did do a baby shower and that was so fun, but also stressful because I ended up thinking that my baby shower was going to be like a month and a half or so like before I was giving birth, and then it ended up only being like a couple weeks after that.
It was a crazy turnaround.
So I had to quickly unpack and ready everything before I gave birth, which again, if you want to hear that story, go to the Patreon to hear that. But yeah, so Elliot actually, because of all of that too, almost ended up being born on 313, which is Detroit's day, which we were like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. There'd be so much like...
I know, it'd be so iconic.
I know. But I was fine with it because also my Nana, who passed away, birthday was on the 15th. So I was like, I either wanted the 13th or the 15th. And of course... to be in the happy medium that Elliot is, he was on the 14th. So
Pi Day forever.
Which I'm not mad at because you actually told me this too, that if you're born on Pi Day, you get like a bunch of free, like you can get like free pizza for your birthday.
I think so. Yeah. Like people, like businesses do it up for those born on Pi Day.
So going forward, a lot of Elliot's birthday parties will be including free pizza, which I'm stoked about. I'm sure he will be too one day. But yeah, it was a good experience and it ended up being the perfect day. But I will say, postpartum, not so perfect, which obviously everybody talks about and a lot of people have their own experiences with. I think I fell more into like, they call it at the hospital, at least that's what they were saying to me, is like, well, you might get the baby blues and not like necessarily like postpartum depression or anything, but I will say for like probably 3 days after I gave birth, from there for like the next week or two, I would cry over the craziest thing. And it was so not funny. Now it's funny looking back, but at the time it was not, because I actually was like so emotional. But we ended up coming home and Brittany was staying with the dogs while we were still at the hospital. And again, more to that story on Patreon. But so we ended up coming home to grab a couple more things, and Brittany was here with the dogs. And I remember like we were trying to rush to get back, and we're walking out the door, and I say bye to Brittany, and I have all my stuff. I'm trying to remember everything I need to bring. And we get down the road, and thankfully we weren't that far, but we get down the road and I start going like just sobbing. And Evan's like, what? Are you okay? Like what happened? Did something happen?
What's going on?
And I'm like, I didn't say bye to the dogs. He's like, it's okay. They don't know.
They're
like,
fine.
Yeah. And he's like, it's okay. It's okay. I'm like, it's not okay. Like I have a baby and I just forget about the dogs. They're going to think I hate them. And I'm like, obviously panicking. So Evan's like, all right, no problem. We're going to turn around.
It's
like,
going to be fine.
Because like at the hospital too, they warned him like, this is going to be like a tougher time for her and whatever. So he turns the car around, lets me come in and say bye. I come walking in just bawling. And
I
Brittany
felt terrible. I was like, what's going on? Like, are you okay? What happened?
Yeah. So Brittany is like, everything good there? I'm like, I didn't say bye to the dogs. So I'm like, I'm approaching the dogs trying to say bye, which they don't know what's going on. They were excited that I was coming back, but also when I started approaching them sobbing, they're like, what's wrong with this crazy woman? Don't come near me. So yeah, I ended up having to do that. And I think too, a lot of my postpartum experience wasn't like necessarily depression, but more so anxiety. I had a lot of like intrusive thoughts all the time. I would fall asleep and we obviously had Elliot in his bassinet and I would like wake up thinking I had him in my arms and like panicking, but I didn't. And then like too, like I would be walking randomly and be like, oh my God, what if I trip? And like just a lot of intrusive thoughts and anxiety, I think was more so my experience with it. But I also know that's common. I've seen a lot of videos. I swear though, the main thing I will say is I am so thankful for TikTok and the internet because as much as we are like, our phones are spying on us, every time I was in need desperately of like a specific video to pop up, it always did.
TikTok had it.
It did. And I would like have a specific thought like, oh my gosh, am I a bad mom if I go work out? Or like, am I a bad mom if I do this? Like just anything that I would think. And I swear my phone would always have a video right there to be like, this is normal. Calm down.
You're okay.
You're okay. And so I will say for that, I am really thankful. And also just because I am constantly Googling stuff. What are babies supposed to be doing at 6 months?
Yeah.
What are babies supposed to be doing at, and obviously every baby's different. So you're not going to go straight off of that. But it has made me feel a lot more calm about parenting. And I genuinely don't know how our parents did it.
No, I think about that all the time. All the technology, all the resources that we have today that once weren't here is astounding. It's truly astounding.
And I'm very thankful.
Yeah.
And I feel you will be too. And I will say too, and I know everybody says this before you have kids, and like it makes you have so much more appreciation for your parents and like also just your current friends who have kids, because obviously you like hear about it and you kind of know, but until you like actually go through it, and then you like just actually feel sorry for like not being there more for like those friends that have had kids or like gone through it. So that's another experience that like it just makes you feel so like appreciative for like your parents and just have much more appreciation for like what your friends might have gone through. I think the biggest thing for us too is just like honestly the sleeping, which I know everybody says it's still kind of like a struggle. Yeah. We're not like totally sleeping through the night, but it's obviously way better than when you first come home. But for me, I felt like when I first came home, it wasn't as hard, even though I was like not sleeping as much and definitely losing more sleep. But you're like so much adrenaline when you first come home. And then like now, since sometimes we'll get a good night, sometimes we won't. When we get a good night and then don't, I'm like, I forget how to function. I'm like, wait, what? I need sleep. So it's been a lot of fun. It's been 8 months of like a lot of ups and downs and learning and fun and just a new life and a new appreciation for things. But he's literally like, I cannot believe how fast 8 months has gone.
I can't believe it. I truly can't. And every time I see him, I feel like he gets bigger and I'm like, where has the time gone?
I know. And I see him every day and I still think that some days I wake up, I'm like, did you grow 3 inches? What are you doing?
Yeah, what's
like,
happening?
Calm down. But yeah, I was sharing like some pictures of him online and stuff, but I think now like we're going to take a little step back from it. I was doing like the monthly pictures, which I still think are so cute. And we do still take them at home every month. Like one of the ones we do, which I don't even think I posted, was because he was born on Pi Day, the pizza, we do like a slice for every month he is. But I stopped posting those because the one day that I had missed, it was actually like his whatever month it was. I think it was maybe 4 or 5 months, and we took him to the Lions game was the same day, so I didn't like do the picture that day. I did it after that, and as soon as I didn't post the picture, I got like some creepy messages being like, "Where is the pic?" Like people being like angry that I didn't post the picture. I'm like, you know what? No.
Nope.
You don't
We're
get
not going to do this
that.
anymore.
Yeah, so we're taking a break from all of that. But I'm sure in the future I'll still be sharing more and talking about, all the fun things he's doing. But what we did share,
we shared a lot of
a whole series of, was Brittany's house renovation in the Just a Little Reno series. So I felt like since we were gone for so long, I was like, but it's okay because we have something else to share at the time in case you really, really missed us. You had the Just a Little Reno series to watch, which was so much fun.
It was a ton of fun.
And like looking back, that also feels like a very, very long time ago, but that was the end of the pregnancy kind of.
It really was.
Really the last big thing that like we were working on and doing in the background of getting ready to have Elliot.
Yeah.
But Brittany is living in the home.
I sure am. It feels crazy that now I've been living in this home for 8, almost 9 months, because we really were working till the wire until it was a very small window of time between us wrapping on the house and you having Elliot. And it's been literally a dream. Like, I still can't believe, like, this is the house I get to live in. Like, I'll get emotional if I think about it too much, because I could have never imagined getting to live in such a beautiful home. And you did such a lovely, like, thoughtful job on everything that you picked out for it. Me and Brian will just be, like, sitting around the house, because this is our first time living together and in a home. And we're just like, wow, I can't believe this is our life. And, like, this is the house we get to live in. It's just, like, the coolest thing.
I love that. I kind of miss it. Like sometimes
Really?
Yeah, like I've gone back a couple times and I'll be like, wow, I forget like how much I love this place.
I love the thought of ever leaving it pains me, because
you've got time.
So much time. We're going to be in the house for a long time, but it is just so perfect. And now it's decorated for Christmas.
I have to come see that.
Yes, we have a tree up, all the things.
Yeah, no, it was if you haven't seen the series, definitely go watch it. It was a lot of fun. I feel like it showed like a little bit more of like us talking.
It really did.
But also it's something I've been passionate about for a long time. I've shared a little bit of my own house renovation there, but Brittany's house was really the first project that like I fully helped. Like, we opened up walls and we did like some crazy changes, and the before and after, even though the project in total, I think, was like maybe 3 weeks.
It was insane how fast the project went.
Fast. But for that such a short timeline, like it truly did do a drastic change. And when I look at the pictures, I'm like, oh my gosh, how did I do that in like that short of time?
It doesn't add up.
If you haven't seen it, go watch. If you're into that kind of thing. I always say, like, I love HGTV. I love, like, Joanna Gaines stuff. I love Studio McGee, like, all those things. And I was trying to channel my inner Joanna and my inner Shay. So if you're interested in that, go watch that. But there was other big milestones specifically for Brittany.
There was.
So
I got engaged, and if you have listened to this podcast, probably even one other time, I probably talked about wanting to get engaged, because I wouldn't shut up about it for the last, basically since Brian and I started dating.
Well, whatever, it worked. He got the hint.
He got the hint. And I'm just so happy. Haley was very much so a part of it. It was a lot of, would I say, lying to me for a couple, because how long did you know that I was getting engaged before it actually happened?
A long time. It was definitely at least like 5 months, I want to say.
That's so extensive.
Because like I knew when the beginnings of talking and the planning was going on.
Yeah.
so I was like a little bit involved with that. But then obviously when it got closer and like actually the date was picked, then I was actually having to come up with lies.
Yeah.
Thankfully, since Elliot was like born not too long before that, maybe like what, a
month or so. I got engaged at the beginning of May, and then he was born in March. So like a month, give or take. Yeah.
That ended up working out in my favor because whenever I had to like lie to Brittany about like not being able to talk or not being able to do something, or even that day, like not being able to like hang out or do something, it just worked out because I could be like, oh, well,
easy
I'm with the baby. So easy to lie, but she won't let it go. But I swear, I mean, obviously, if you know this, you cannot ruin it for your friend. You want them to be surprised.
You did really good. Brian did really good. My family did pretty good. They were like, my mom was like actively dodging my calls, I think like the 2 weeks leading up to it.
Which is definitely suspicious for her.
It's very suspicious because her and I speak on the daily, sometimes multiple times throughout the day on the phone. So to be ignored didn't sit right with me. But I will say that like leading up to our proposal, like I was very much so, I wasn't trying to like snoop around for clues, but I'm just a very aware person.
This woman, you guys, if I could tell you all the things that she did this specific day, I mean, I was like, she knows, because even before the day happened and we were talking, like we were just talking about her plans for that week. And I was trying to do everything I could to like discourage her from necessarily following through with her plans. Cause she's telling me, oh yeah, we're going to, the lie was that it was her parents' anniversary dinner and like they were going to go out with her parents for their anniversary. And she's like telling me like, I have this outfit. She shows me it's white. I'm like, bitch. So I'm like, oh no, I like the other one better. Like just doing everything I could to like
deter
her from thinking that it was, because I felt that she knew, but she wasn't saying it and I wasn't gonna say it. So I'm like, I like the other one better. She's like, oh well, I might go get this tailored. I'm like, oh, the tailor takes forever. Wear the other one. Like just trying to actively.
I will say I was prepared to be prepared multiple weeks because I
remember these phone calls.
Because I would tell her, I'd be like, well, I can't get engaged X, Y, and Z weekend because we have this, and this. And I feel like people that have got engaged or are about to get engaged, like, have these types of feelings. But I would irrationally get pissed every time plans would come up. And I'd be like, well, I know for a fact I'm now not getting engaged that weekend because we have this thing plan or that thing. And I don't know. I was ready to be a fiance. Yeah. And it finally happened.
I was getting very also frustrated with those phone calls and feelings because like I knew
what was happening.
It was already planned and already happening. So like every weekend that would come by and she'd call me and be like, well, it's obviously not this weekend because now we're doing this. And it'd be like a really fun plan.
And I'd be like pissed at like not at the people that made the plans or the plans themselves, just like at the fact that it was then not happening.
And I kept being like, just let it happen when it's gonna happen. Just let it go. And it ended up obviously working out. And it was a perfect day.
No, it was, every detail was thought through. I know you and my mom and Tracy did like a lot of help with like getting the party set up and planned. Like you were there the day before, like blowing up balloons and putting things together. And Brian was acting very casual. So I was like, what's going on here? But you guys literally, Brian, everyone did such a great job with it. I bawled my eyes out when he proposed, and my family, his immediate family, and then Haley, Evan, Tracy, and Phil got to watch from...
It was a lot of fun.
Afar. So like they couldn't hear what was going on, and I didn't even notice that they were there watching until I looked around, and
there we were.
There y'all were. And then we had a party.
Yeah. And then I was thinking about this story, and do you remember your like private Snapchat story that you ended up posting?
So we had a lot of fun the day, and did a lot of celebrating the day I was engaged, because then on top of everyone that was there, we had more friends were invited, and we had a whole party. And I I guess I decided that it was the right thing to do to announce officially my engagement via Snapchat story, singing The Spins by Mac Miller. And it is in all caps, I'm getting married, and just videos of people around. Brian, nowhere to be seen. I don't know where Brian was in this moment.
Your face was also not even in it.
At no point does my face enter it. You see my hand, though. I could very well have been just trying on somebody else's ring, and we were all just vibing and having a good time. But people saw, and people responded and were like, are we really? Like, you're engaged? Like, because I hadn't posted anything. It was real life. You were comparing
real
it to,
time.
like,
no, it's literally like the trend that's happening right now that I keep seeing of people being like my private story versus my public story. And it was like your private story was you just, and like everyone around, it was just your hand, everyone around drunkenly singing The Spins.
Yep.
No really additional context, just I'm getting married.
Yep.
And then your
My
public
hand.
story, and which ended up being like the next day, was like the most wholesome smiley photo of you and Brian with your ring. And I'm like, yeah, this is that trend in real time, because that was her announcement to like, not obviously it wasn't on like her public social media, but like a lot of people you knew.
All of like basically majority of my like friends in real life who like were not necessarily there because it was a smaller party. We didn't invite everybody. We're seeing it and finding out in real time that I was potentially engaged, and then got it confirmed the next day when I eventually posted.
Yeah. But I feel like that was just ended up being the theme of the night, was us karaokeing to our phones and to each other in a way.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Lots of singing.
In my defense, that was like my first time really like not like being away from Elliot.
Yes.
And I may have had one too many of the margs that we had set up.
The matrimony margs.
Yes.
They had a fun name.
Yeah.
I remember that.
And for whatever reason, there's multiple videos of us like singing to the phone, very like 2000
throwbacks. Yeah,
but like that was like what like people used to do in like 2016.
We were living
drunkenly
our
or something,
best
like
2016 life that night. I performed The Smallest Man Who Ever Lived by Taylor Swift extensively. I sang the entire song. People sat and watched. There was lights with it.
It was your day. We were just living in it. And I mean, truly, the whole video, there was interpretive dancing going on. I mean, you didn't miss a word.
No. And, one would think, happiest day of my life, newly engaged. Why would one sing such a sad song? But I felt it in my soul that
it's just high emotions.
It had to be done. It was so fun.
High emotions. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And what's weird about it is we're really not karaoke people.
No, we're not.
But that day we turned
so many songs were sung. A lot of singing, a lot of good vibes.
Yeah, it was really fun.
Yeah.
And now you're planning a wedding.
Now I'm planning a wedding. We're in full on wedding plan mode. We've done a lot of the big stuff.
Yeah, it's exciting. I'm so excited.
It's gonna be good.
Yeah. We chose a really busy time to come back.
We did.
But that's all right. We're still planning to be back for our regularly scheduled programming once a week, Fridays, 3 p.m. ET, here and on Patreon bonus content. You can watch or listen anywhere you get your podcasts. And yeah, we're super excited to be back for this season, and we will see you guys in the next one.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.